So now, OP's wife is giving me the silent treatment, unless she needs something from me. If I try to talk with her, she'll make a comment about me talking to Brian instead, since he's more important to me. Damn, dude.
Men, we don't know what we did.
Hello friends, trace amounts of science, welcome back to ReddX. Today we've got a collection of OPs that I'm sure you will truly love to hate. And so will I, or my blood pressure will spike up. Let's go ahead and find out. Our first story from Relationship Advice, my 29 male fraternal twin brother, 29 male, has been no contact with me for 9 years. I'm ready to make amends. How do I do that? I mean, based off the post title alone, it's great you're willing to make amends, but I think that's a two-way street. Is he willing to make amends with you? So my brother and I had a tumultuous relationship, to say the least. When I was younger, I distanced myself from my brother. He argued I bullied him, but it never got to that extent. And then the post goes on to describe how you bullied him. Yeah, I've seen this before. This started around middle school, as we had a disparity in popularity. I wasn't popular, to say the least. I was in the middle, but my brother was a complete outcast, with a K. Shout out big boy, Andre 3K. He felt I had bullied him just to impress the popular kids. Even though we are twins, my brother was the complete opposite. He just had weird hobbies. Meanwhile, I played sports. Whoa. Heck yeah, dude, great replacement for a personality, sports ball, whoa. He complained to my parents and older sister about what I was doing, but they agreed with me. They did tell me to tone it down, and in my immaturity, I refused. Oh yeah. Hey look guys, yeah totally, I was a scumbag when I was younger, but I'm not no more. Okay, well, prove it. I guess he is trying to prove it, but the other person has to be willing to open the door, and it seems like they were hurt enough by what you did that they decided, I don't have a brother no more. And as sad as it is to me to see blood bonds fall apart, I don't blame him at all, especially considering the upcoming paragraph. This takes me to the last time that he ever spoke with me. Senior year of high school. We had our prom. I didn't have my own date and was going with a group of friends. He was dating this weird girl who was a grade below us. I figured if I steal his prom date, would make me get in with the popular kids. I was immature back then. Yeah, you said that already, stupid. The most hilarious part is you're still trying to get in with the popular kids at senior prom. Like, you guys aren't going to see each other at all in a couple months. Everybody goes dust to the wind when high school's over. You realize that. You scorned a forever relationship with your brother in order to impress these people for 2 months or whatever. I'd say this is all just desserts. That night went exactly how I planned, and essentially, I banged out my brother's girlfriend.
Do you regret what you did? Nah.
You're just the worst. It wasn't enough to steal the date. You had to go seal the deal and all. After that, he stopped talking to me completely. Gosh.
Well, duh.
It didn't impress the kids in school either. I mostly got, damn, that's crazy, you bang your brother's girl. People found the drama funny, but it didn't make me popular. All for nothing. My parents were upset at my brother for letting a woman get between us. That is like some grade A scapegoating. I bet the brother left the entire family behind. Good for him, honestly. Fuck all these people. Maybe the parents did actually blame the one who did the banging, but they were just like too intimidated to talk to him. Well, he's not going to stop anyways. Let's blame his brother so we can pretend like we did something. I hope that twin is out there just having the time of his life. I hope his family never gets back in. Not something I usually advocate, but yeah, I'm seeing how this is all coming together. Well, after graduation, brother joins the army and doesn't tell anyone. He blocked the entire family. Oh, so good. It's been years since we talked. All I know is he's a warrant officer now. I don't know exactly what that is. Yeah, you don't know a lot of things, do you, OP? But I have a friend who follows his account. He's married and his wife's a pharmacist, so she's doing well for herself. None of us family was invited to the wedding. I think it's time to put the past behind us and rebuild our relationship. Yeah, what would be the point of that? I'm sure you coming back into his life is a net negative, okay? Considering all the things I've seen here, he's moved on and he's moved on well. Why do you want to drag yourself back into it? For your own ego, for the most part. You're a piece of shit, OP, and you need to take a deep look inside yourself. Just because you were young when these things happened, yeah, you don't get a pass on that. Those are formative experiences. You've ruined your brother's formative years.
Look at my lips, you're ruining it.
I'd never forgive you. I don't think he's gonna forgive you. And good, I hope you look back with regret every day on what you've lost. Now get this garbage out of my sight. Our next post takes us to Am I the Beehole, where, am I the Beehole for asking my classmate if I can pray for her? Here we go, more people using religion as a wedge in order to serve their own means. Cool, awesome, I'm sure I'm gonna love it. I, 18 male, am in college, and I am studying nursing. I'm in an anatomy and physiology class with this girl, 20, ? She used to be very talkative and nice to me, but recently she's changed her attitude around me. A few days ago, we had a group project. It was us and 2 other people. One of the other members was talking about a surgery she had on her ankle a few years ago and was showing her x-ray. The girl mentioned that she hurt her ankle a few years ago and it never healed. She said it gives her problems from time to time and asked for the girl's doctor she went to because apparently he's great. Well, all of this seems within the boundaries so far. After class, she always goes to the library. I felt inclined to pray for her that day, but I always try to ask permission first. I asked her if I could pray for her, and she seemed hesitant about it. I asked her what she had to lose other than a few seconds. She ended up saying no, and we got into a little disagreement about religion. So, you're bothering to ask permission, but then when you get a no, you argue about it, instead of gracefully being like, okay, that's fine. I also think it's super weird to even ask, like, you just want them to know that you prayed for them? It's so weird.
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
You want to pray for somebody? Do it. You don't ever have to tell them about it. Unless you're doing it for your own means, which clearly you are, because you disagreed about it. Are you really just trying to pray about the ankle, or are you trying to open the door to something more? And I think I already know the answer. She kept saying that she respects what I believe, but she just doesn't believe it. I could tell that she didn't mean it. Yeah, that thing you just told me, I could tell it's not true. I just know, okay? Another religious whack job, just like that sovereign citizen video we did the other day. Personally, I believe in religion, but what these people are practicing is not religion. It's self-serving and horrible. OP continues, I told her that I know she has a bad experience with religion growing up, and she also has an aversion to religion due to her sexuality, so I try not some of her hurtful comments to heart. Honestly, you think you're opening the door and really having a conversation, but you're only driving her further away from religion. People generally find it in their own time when it's supposed to happen. You could spread the good word, but if people don't want to hear about it, that's fine. I can't make you listen. But I mean, he's 18, he's dumb, like really dumb. He's out there trying to change the world. Like, how about you just shut the fuck up and focus on school for now, okay? Learn a few more things first before you try and paint for me how my life is played out. Well, the next class meeting, she wasn't really talking to anyone, which I found odd. After class, I went downstairs to the library to ask what was wrong, and one of the math tutors stopped me and told me that if I was coming into the library, I needed to study, read, or get out, because apparently another tutor and student in the library reported that I was quote-unquote homophobic towards her. I tried to defend myself, but she wasn't listening to me. I mean, were you not being at least slightly homophobic? We didn't have to take it this direction at all. You could have said, can I pray for you? And she'd say no. And you'd say, okay, thank you, have a good day. and you could still have a cohesive working relationship, but you had to turn it into a whole fucking thing. Because, again, ego. It's always ego. OP says, I was not homophobic in the slightest. All I said was that I know how she was raised, and her inclination might make her feel like she can't have a relationship with God. I feel like I'm being targeted for my beliefs, when all I was trying to do was be kind. You weren't. It's all performative for you, I can tell. I know this is a touchy subject to most people, so I didn't know who else to turn to other than strangers online. That's a sad story all in itself, honestly. Where's your social support network? Maybe they're all in the church and he knows the answer that they'd give. So yes, an impartial response from a stranger online. You overstepped your boundaries. Maybe it started out with the best intentions, but that's not how it's looking to me from the outside. The first thing that was hinky in this story was him asking to pray for somebody. But yeah, like I said, it's not something that you really need to ask for unless you're trying to open the door to some sort of conversion. And yeah, she's not interested in the bullshit that you're trying to sell, okay? You couldn't just take no for an answer. You couldn't just walk away gracefully for whatever reason. You had to try and take it to the mat. And sometimes this is what happens. All would have been well if you just accepted no as no. You freak. Next one. Again from Am I the Butthole because it's just so good. Am I that for prioritizing a friend over my pregnant wife? Do you even have to ask? Where are your priorities, son? My wife, 28 female, and I, 29 male, got married last summer. She's currently 7 months pregnant with our first child. She had an appointment with her OBGYN 2 weeks ago to address some complications with the pregnancy. The doctor wasn't overly concerned and confirmed that both my wife and the baby are healthy, but they did recommend her starting her maternity leave early and taking as much bed rest as possible. It sounds like what happened to my wife around 7 months. She started dilating early. And of course the OB's, not going to freak out right there on the spot because they don't want her to freak out herself and dilate any further. So yes, take some bed rest. Everything's going to be fine. But it seems like the husband is just using that as an excuse. Like, hey, they didn't rush you into surgery. You're going to be fine. No, dude, bed rest is pretty serious. What's she doing walking around 7 months anyways? Jeez. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, but please do as little as possible. So OP says, a few days after that appointment, my best friend, Brian, his fiance passed away in a car accident. Brian and I have been friends since we were 3. We lived on the same street growing up. He was a groomsman in my wedding, and he asked me to be one for him as well. Their wedding was supposed to be this summer. Yeah, that's some heavy stuff happening right there. Some real established history, but I do notice that you decided not to marry Brian. Why is that, OP? Yeah, he's been your friend for a long time. But this other person you chose to be your life partner, she's carrying your seed. Do you understand? I'm sorry, Brian's having a rough time, Maybe we get some FaceTime in there. You gonna be all right, buddy? I'd totally come over there and drink some beers with you, but I can't abandon my pregnant wife. Wah, wah. See, I'm sad at the end of the paragraph, and then I start talking and make myself laugh. Now I feel better, don't you? We'll continue on. Brian and I live about an hour away from each other now, so we don't see each other as often. Usually only a few times a year, on special occasions. But as soon as I got the news about his fiancée, I immediately drove to be with him. Is there not some sort of subtext to be with him? What exactly are we talking about here, OP? I'm sorry, I don't mean to turn it into anything perverse. I'm just joking, mostly, probably. You were there for your friend in a tough time, but, you can't literally do it for him. He's got to come to grips and figure out how to move forward without his fiancée. But you know whose fiancée now wife is still alive and in need of your help? Yeah, it's yours. I don't know, maybe I can give you one night, Brian. But at a certain point, we all have to learn how to pretend to be capable adults, don't we? How old are they? Almost 30? Yeah, Brian doesn't need you. Brian's gonna be just fine. Anyway, we'll continue. I've been juggling helping Brian with everything I can while also taking care of my wife and everything that she needs. On top of that, I'm still working full-time. I've driven to Brian's house a few nights after work just to hang out, and I spent one night there last weekend to help him with some things. How many's a few? 3, 4? I'd say that's too many days to leave your pregnant wife home alone to fend for herself. And then there's the overnighting. Did Brian guilt trip you into this? What's going on here? I suppose this is a little bit outside my frame of reference, as I've never had like a true childhood friend like this. But I think I would pick my wife over him every time. I live with one all of the time. We're literal life partners. OP says Brian's fiance's funeral is scheduled for next week, so I've been helping him with that as much as I can as well. Does he not have like another support network, like a family of his own or something? Because it's cool if he doesn't, he just seems to be leaning on OP an awful lot. And OP seemingly just can't say no. Maybe he really does enjoy hanging out with Brian this much. They've done a lot of catching up. But yeah, wife is pregnant. Maybe we could save this until after the baby happens and stuff. I don't know. Like I said before, you can't do it for him. Is that what you're doing? Scheduling the funeral and whatnot? You could just call them. I'm having a hard time grasping this. A couple nights ago, I told my wife that I planned on driving down to Brian's one night this week, just to hang out, keep him company. This started an argument between us because my wife feels like I'm prioritizing Brian too much and neglecting her. She said that she needs me at home to help her because she doesn't want to go against doctor's orders and try to do too much. She told me that her and the baby need to be my number one priority right now, not Brian. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing it. We've shared genetic material. Who is Brian, actually? I get it, bros and whatnot, but yeah. You can't put them over the person that you signed a legal contract with. Let's break it down like that. Maybe it's more understandable. I told her I'm trying to juggle everything, and I understand she needs my help, but Brian is at the lowest point in his life, and I need to be there for him. She told me that I don't need to be there for him. I'm making a choice to be there for him, instead of being at home taking care of her needs. Wife said it's kind of based, honestly. Sort of bossy, but also, yeah, base. I told her I'm just trying to get Brian through the funeral, and then I'll make sure that I'm more attentive to things at home. She told me that Brian has other friends and family that can be there for him, and that I'm spending too much time with him. Yeah, why doesn't he like cycle in and out? Why does it need to be OP 4 nights a week? It's weird, dude. I don't like it, dude. She said that the health of her and the baby should be more important to me than anything else right now, including Brian, and that she needs me at home as much as possible. I told her she was being unreasonable, and that I'm not gonna abandon my best friend in his darkest days. So you have to sit there by his side like a loyal hound? Couldn't you just text me or something? You've not been abandoned, I just have a family now. I can't drink a 6-pack and play Super Nintendo all night no matter how fucking bad I want to. You made this choice. You decided to have the baby, and yes, the baby comes with some responsibility. I don't think he's really felt the weight of that quite yet. Either his super dad powers will activate in a couple months more time, or he'll be a scared little pissant baby boy and run away from his newly born child. Seen both of them happen. I like the former a lot more than the latter. I'm hoping the former for you, OP, but I don't know. You seem like sort of a noodle spine, a little bit of a pushover, huh? So now, OP's wife is giving me the silent treatment, unless she needs something from me. If I try to talk with her, she'll make a comment about me talking to Brian instead, since he's more important to me. Damn, dude.
Men, we don't know what we did.
Yeah. She's aired her grievances with you directly. This is what open communication is about. There's a compromise in there somewhere, but OP doesn't want to dig through the tough conversation to find the compromise. He's just like, I'm gonna go tell Reddit, and hopefully somebody there will say that I'm right. No, I don't think so. Especially if you got kids. You really understand if you got kids. OP concludes with, I understand she's stressed and hormonal. Don't say that. But she's never been this outright mean about anything. Am I wrong here? Yes, absolutely. Why do you not care more about your life partner and your child? I do understand you knew the guy since he was 3. He's a real stand-up guy. But yeah, that stand-up guy has to understand that I have a pregnant wife at home. I can't be... You need to make a phone call? Call me anytime. But I'm not coming over. Especially not multiple nights a week. Especially not for little sleepovers. Not while my wife is supposed to be on bed rest. Are you out of your fucking mind? I mean, yeah, he definitely is. I don't understand the logic whatsoever. Maybe that's because there is none. Anyway, moving on. Am I to be whole once more for telling my twin sister that she will never fit in with us? Lots of fighting twins today. Couple weird bromances. There's also that weird homophobic religious guy. Anyway, I, 29 female, have 4 siblings. Mark, 33 male. Josh, 31 male. Eva, 29 female. And Tony, 26 male. Me and Eva are fraternal twins. Our mother was a stay-at-home mom, but she was emotionally absent. Yeah, you try maintaining a home with too many children and remaining emotionally present. It's a balancing act, okay? She did the best she could. You all lived, didn't you?
You want to run? Go ahead. No one's stopping you. Stop complaining.
Am I joking? I don't know. It's probably what my mom would tell you. Growing up, our father was very hard on us. He wanted his first son to be a doctor, so Mark had to work all the time. He had Josh learn violin at 4 years old and made him play for hours. Tony had to be a lawyer, and I had the chance to be a beautiful kid, and I participated in beauty pageants starting at 3 years old. All that sounded really great, pushing their children to be better people, but then the beauty pageants thing, I'm kind of like, ugh. At 3, it's gross. No show on the planet makes me sicker than toddlers and tiaras, okay? Anyway, Eva, however, was free of this, because she wasn't beautiful. And my father didn't think a woman could do much anyway. She always had liberty and could do whatever she wanted without any pressure on her shoulders. She could have friends, had no one care about her grades, and didn't have to work her ass off every day. We're not proud of it, but we tended to exclude her, since she was slacking off while we were all working so hard. I mean, I can understand some level of resentment, but yeah, it's really not Eva's fault. She was chosen to get pushed out of the nest for some reason that I don't fully grasp quite yet. Because she wasn't beautiful, and a woman couldn't do much anyways. Like, that's it. I try to think the best of parents. Maybe Eva didn't express any interest in things. She was just sort of a slacker, maybe, as we hear about in the next sentence. Eva was a problematic teen. She skipped class, hung around with a bad crowd, and drank. She even disappeared for a week without notice when we were 15, stating that she wanted to get away with her boyfriend for a road trip. Well, I wasn't even allowed to leave the house for a night because my parents wanted to make sure I did my work and would only eat what I was allowed to. That is a tragic story right there, dude. Nobody cared that Eva left. She's just that much of a problem child. Why is there always a good twin and an evil twin, you know? My wife has twin brothers, and yeah, there's a good twin and an evil twin. Based on these 2 instances of anecdotal evidence, I'm pretty sure that's conclusive. Trace amounts of science. OP continues, Eva would throw tantrums, saying she was neglected and no one would care if she disappeared. I mean, proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Maybe she has a right to throw a tantrum about it. OP says, I was enraged with her, however, because she never realized the chance she had, and we only grew apart from that point, which is exactly what your parents wanted, you know? They said, that one's a bad influence. We gotta keep her away from the good apples, rather than like sitting Eva down and talking to her and trying to make her one of the good apples. It's sort of a boomer mindset. Anyway, after high school, OP says I went far away and started working as a makeup artist. I eloped at 26 with Eli, 27 male, and never looked back. Yeah, sounds like there wasn't much to look back to. Last month, our father passed away, and my siblings and I went to the family home for the funeral. We stayed for 3 weeks and reconnected a lot. Yeah, death will do that to people. And sounds like a nice little vacay, you know? So the eldest, Mark, had a breakdown at 23 from all the pressure and barely recovered. He's now happier, got a job as a tech in a lab, is married, and has 2 little kids. Josh stopped violin and is a drummer and piano teacher, and Tony is a public defender. Eva chose to be a social worker. Yeah, that honestly makes complete sense to me. She doesn't want other people to have to go through what she's gone through. OP says it was a bit weird with Eva, since we hadn't seen each other for years and gave up contact too. She once again tried to dismiss what we went through, saying that she was just as maltreated as we were, even though that is nowhere near true. I mean, it's different, but it's definitely a maltreatment situation, isn't it? I don't think she's trying to downplay anybody's trauma. She's trying to share with you her experience. And you just write it off. You're like, no, I had it worse. I have to win the Victim Olympics. Okay, fine. You win. As a matter of fact, add 2 more points on top of your winning score for being a socially crippled bitch. Damn. I didn't need to say all that. It's just how I feel inside. One evening, Eva completely flipped out on us, calling me a butthole and saying that we were like our father and excluding her. She kept going on about how our parents never took an interest in her, and neither did we, and that she went through hell thinking that she was worthless. Yeah, for no reason. That's just the situation that you're born into as a child to try and sort that out. That is hell. Eva's alone. At least they had each other. Ugh, you're gross, OP. Mark started to cry, so I took Eva out and lashed out at her. Saying that she was the butthole for being jealous of our misery and that she'll never fit in with us because she was never maltreated and it was insane of her to claim that she had. Dude, this is so wild. Are you kidding me right now? This could have been a moment where we broke down barriers and laid it all on the table, but you're still just really trying to hold on for whatever reason to the fact that you were treated worse in some way. This OP's horrible. It makes me so upset on Eva's behalf. Well, Eva left that night and didn't apologize to any of... Why would she apologize to you, OP? I don't understand. When I went home, I cried a lot and told everything to my husband, expecting him to support me, but he said that I should be the one to call and apologize to my sister. So, am I the butthole? It sounds like your husband is a man of logic and reason. Lean upon him more often. It's literally the stupidest fight that I've ever heard. Yes, these things happened. Yes, they were formative. But it's how we move past it. You don't blow up your entire family because like, oh yeah, from my perspective, I was treated worse than you were. To this day, you can see the fire of competition that her dead daddy lit inside of her, just trying to outcompete her sister for no reason whatsoever. She's there, like she wants to reconnect, but you can't admit that she maybe experienced another side of the coin, something that you didn't. Maybe you could both grow as people. Oh, I'm seething. It's really terrible. You should be the one to apologize, for sure. Maybe she didn't experience the same things, whatever, but your words are far too harsh, okay? Reconsider. Anyway, let's do another one. r/confessions! The group chat between me and the boys got leaked. The consequences have been extreme. Whoa, straight out of the 90s. I'm party demon. How extreme? What sort of things were you sharing in the group chat? Maybe next time consider not doing that. OP says, me and my buddies use Discord a ton, and we have a server we made with just us in it, and we post tons of offensive jokes and memes, pictures of girls we've dated or hooked up with. No nudes though, because we're not disrespectful. Boasts of trolling we've done, etc. Yeah, that sounds like the most cringe thing ever. Hey, we got a pretty cringe Discord. You should come on by. Share some memes, some stuff you'd like to see read on the channel. Yeah, why not, you know? Links in the description. You can boast about all the trolling you've done. Well, this guy Derek got into our circle of friends on our main server, and we thought Derek was a cool dude, so we invited him to join our server. All 8 of us actually liked the dude, and he seemed chill, and we thought he'd fit in. However, instead, this a-hole screenshotted everything. As in, literally things going back 5+ years, and then shared it all in our community, exposing us. Derek's a Giga Chat. I'm torn between Stitches Get Stitches and delicious juicy leaks that turn into content that feeds my family. After much deliberation, I think I'm going to support the leaks. Where is the paste bin for all these leaks? I'd like to have a look. A lot of people are pissed. One girl my buddy dated briefly is furious that raunchy text messages she sent were in there too. Gasp. Is that not like on the same level as nude? I guess a slightly lower level, but it is still an extreme violation. Like, that is meant for your eyes only. She's talking about her hoo-ha in the text messages. A couple people we made fun of by photoshooping pictures of them, and they're super butthurt too. I find it interesting that you don't elaborate on what you Photoshop them into. There's also a ton of Israel, Palestine, and Russia, Ukraine memes that people thought were in poor taste. The majority of them are, to be fair. Scroll right past them shits, I ain't got time. Now, a bunch of people think that we're just terrible people now and don't want to be our friends anymore. But there's a few good people who actually want to join at least. Lol. Dude, this is a literal child writing this post, right? So okay, good. Whatever, kiddo. I'm glad you got exposed. It doesn't seem like you learned a lesson from it at all, so guess what? It's gonna happen again. And you have to act surprised the next time too, okay? You're a toxic person, reveling in a toxic situation. Whatever. Either way, if you're reading this, you're a total goo gobbler, Derek. A pathetic mama's boy who decided to leak stuff to make dudes who called you brother look bad. Fuck you. Oh my god, hell yeah, dude. Totally owned him at the end. This is the dumbest thing I've read in a while. Somehow I still managed to enjoy it, and I hope that you did too, friends. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, join up on the Patreon. I'd appreciate the heck out of that, you know? Always remember that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.
Walking down the city streets, lights flickering in the night, like a kaleidoscope of dreams, painting colors that ignite.